just this morning. It was postmarked Omaha. It was typed and neatly written, offering me this better job. Better job at higher wages, expenses paid, and a car. But I'm on TV here locally, and I can't quit, I'm a star. Kansas City Star, that's what I are. Yodelay, you ought to see my car. Drive a big old Cadillac with wire wheels, got rhinestones on the spokes. I got credit down at my grocery store, and my barber tells me jokes. I'm the #1 attraction in every supermarket parking lot. I'm the king of Kansas City, no thanks Omaha, thanks a lot. I come on TV grinning, wearing pistols and a hat. It's a kiddie show and I'm the hero of the younger set. I'm the #1 attraction in every supermarket parking lot. I'm the king of Kansas City, no thanks Omaha, thanks a lot. Hello everybody, it's Robby Spencer and welcome to another Robby Spencer's Adventures. I'm down here at the Exchange Place in Kingsport where the 50th Virginia Infantry Company H reenactors are set up. They've got the whole camp set up and I volunteered to help them out this weekend. So we'll get on with the adventure right after this. Well, here I am. I met up with Joey Verbal, and what's your rank? Are you my?
I'm the captain of the 50th Virginia, Robby.
All right. Are you my boss today?
I'm your boss.
All right. Well, I volunteered to help you fight in this war here, so.
Well, that's a good thing. We need good men out of Zolly Coffer like you. And we're always looking forward to good volunteer recruits. We hate to have to conscript anybody. We just volunteer, you know. Man fights better when he volunteers than when they have to bring him in kicking and screaming.
People may not know what Zollicoffer is. That's what my hometown, Bluff City, was called during the Civil War.
That's right. They named it after Felix Zollicoffer, the first general in the Confederacy, or big general that was killed. And they named Bluff City after him at that time. Mm-hmm. And then later on it became Bluff City. But at that time during the Civil War, it was actually called Zollicoffer.
Yeah, and before the Civil War, it was actually called Union.
Yeah.
And they changed it when Bluff City went to the Confederacy because they couldn't have it named Union. So they named it after one of the Confederates there.
Yeah, it'd be hard to have a city named Union when you're in the middle of the Confederacy.
Yeah.
Which at that time, East Tennessee was kind of called the Little Confederacy because everybody was so Confederate, sympathized towards the war.
Well, I tell you what, have you got somebody from the Fife and Drum Corps can hold this microphone or anything?
Well, I can hold it.
All right, you hold that. Now, what we got to do to get me suited up and geared out?
Well, I've got Captain Wilhelm here. He's our regimental surgeon.
I'll be your surgeon.
All right, good to meet you.
I'm Robert Sawbones Wilhelm, so if you get any medical problems today, if you're feeling bad, you call on Sawbones and I'll take care of it.
All right, you look like you've been bathing a cat.
Well, no, I had to remove an ingrown toenail, and it got a little bloody on me. I took it off right about here.
Yeah.
So he won't have any more trouble with that toenail.
Well, that's good. I'm not suffering from one right now.
Okay, all right. Most of my patients get well real quick when they come see me, so I think you've had a miracle recovery there.
All right, now what all this?
Well, Joey will explain these things to you, and I'll just hold them here, and he'll get them one by one, explain them, and then he'll put them on.
All right, this is your haversack, Robby.
Mm-hmm.
Put that on your left side.
Okay.
And that's considered almost like a man's purse during the Civil War.
Yeah.
And the Confederate soldier and the Union soldier both at the time, they would have that haversack and they would have their personal articles in it like toothbrush, comb, letters from home, most of their personal stuff. They might even roll up a shirt in there. You notice it's got a small pouch and you'd keep maybe your personal items like your letters and things like that in there. And then in the back of it, they would probably have maybe a towel where they washed themselves off.
only-
roll up a shirt.
I only have 2 personal items, a match and
You
a...
got a match and a
Wooden nickel.
and a wooden
All right. So,
nickel. You're ready to go.
all right. Let's fight this war. Now what else
This
do I
is your
need?
canteen. This would be one of the most important things you carried. Of course,
Okay.
we'll put it on last over top because y'all have to be able to get your canteen up where you can drink out of it.
Uh-huh.
Your next thing you put on will be your cartridge box. Now this is
All
your
right.
cartridge box. You put it on and let it hang on your right side.
Okay.
Okay, now we'll show you, as you'll notice here, this cartridge box has cartridges in it. Now we're reenactors, so we don't shoot live rounds. But if this would have been in the Civil War, this cartridge here would have had a bullet in the end of it and the powder behind it. You would bite it off, pour it in the barrel of your gun, and fire it at the enemy. Now this is where the saying 4F came from. You've heard in the Army, you know,
Yeah.
these 4F we can't take him. If you didn't have 4 front teeth to bite this cartridge off with in the beginning of the war, they wouldn't take you.
Huh.
But as the war progressed, the South started running out of men. They took you. They didn't care whether you had any teeth or not.
Yeah.
So that's your cartridge box with your rounds in it.
All right.
We'll close it off right there. All right, now this is your belt. You'll put it around you. Help me put it around you, my Rob. It's got your bayonet scabbard on it. Now we've got you a musket over here, but it's already got the bayonet on it. Now put that
Okay.
around this cartridge box.
Around the cartridge
right
box?
around it. And see that your waist there, we buy them long so they'll fit fat guys and skinny guys and anybody in between.
All right.
As you notice, your belt buckle's upside down.
And I noticed.
This belt buckle, we took it off a dead Yankee,
All right.
and we won't wear it with it saying U.S. because we're Confederate troops. So what we do is we turn it over and it stands for Southern Nation now instead of U.S.
Got a SN going there.
Yeah.
On there.
Well, ain't that the trick?
Here's your canteen. You put it on either side that suits you. Bring it up before you can drink out of it.
All right. I'll put it on right.
Place where you can get a drink of water. Hot weather like this, where they cool, you get where you want to drink water pretty much.
All right.
There you go, Rob. You're about ready to go.
All right, now you want us to call up the troop and let you do a little drilling with us now?
Yeah, I might as well learn how to shoot one of them guns.
All right, you come to the right place. All right. First Sergeant, call the men up. Assemble the company. Virginia, fall in. Robin, hold this just a second.
Okay, sir.
I'm gonna make sure we get permission to shoot.
All right.
Hey, company. And John. Gentlemen, we've got a new volunteer today from Zollicoffer, Robby Spencer. He's joined us in the ranks. He's a little green, but he's got a lot of ambition. And we're going to show him what needs to be done and how to do it. Company. Company. Hey. Hey. Arm. Mr. Spencer, I'll give you this musket.
All right.
That's an 1853 Enfield. That's what the Confederate Army mostly used. It's a .577 caliber, 58 caliber rifle. It fires a round, what we call a mini ball. I may even actually have one in my pouch. Let me see if I can find one. We can show the folks what they look like. As you notice, I've got plenty of personal items.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the bullet. I know the old saying goes, bite the bullet.
Man's got to carry all his personal belongings.
Yeah,
I know.
you never know where we're going to be. You have to carry everything with you. But I do think I have one here that we can show the folks today. I carry it. A lot of times we go to little schools. That's a mini ball. That's what was fired from that rifle. It changed the face of the war. At the beginning of the war, the Confederates and the Union both fired rifles that many of the soldiers called pumpkin throwers because they fired a round ball and it wasn't very accurate at long distances. When these infields with these rifle barrels and this type bullet came about, they would stand 1,000 yards apart and you wouldn't hit very many people. And then when these rifles came in being, they'd stand 1,000 yards apart and they'd hit hundreds of men at a time. So they fought the Civil War on a Napoleonic battlefield and battlefield tactics. And they just stood up and shot at each other. And as the war progressed, they began to realize as thousands were killed and wounded that they couldn't do it that way any longer. And it changed the face of the way wars were fought.
The weaponry had far out-advanced the tactics.
The tactics
they were using.
All right.
So now, if you'll fall in the ranks right here, Mr. Spencer.
Just get in line.
Get in line, sir, right there. All right. Now, set your rifle beside your toe. There you go. If you'll watch these gentlemen, they'll pretty much...
I'm your sergeant.
All right.
First sergeant right here. He'll relay what orders I give. If you'll watch these gentlemen, they'll pretty much tell you what you need to do, and you can kind of watch them out of the corner of your eye.
All right.
We'll get you in ship shape here. Company!
Company!
Remove. Bayonet!
What'd they do with it? Where is it?
It's all right.
There you go, Rob.
There you go. Doing fine, son. Doing fine. Turn around. First sergeant is going in back.
Going in back.
It won't fit. It won't fit. Won't fit in there.
What if I just hold it?
We've already had a malfunction. All right.
Getting wrong caliber.
All right.
All right.
Now you're ready to go. All right. Gentlemen, let's move down this way, away from the road. Company.
Company!
Right face without doubling. Right face. Company. Forward. Forward. March. We'll do it and let you do it with us and see if you're going to enjoy being in this man's army.
All right.
Company.
Company!
Shoulder.
Shoulder!
Arm. Good job. Company.
Company!
Right shoulder.
Right shoulder!
Shift.
Bring it up on your
Now
shoulder.
we'll explain to you, Robby. Turn it just a little bit. There you go.
There you go.
Now this is if we were in battle and they were marching us in, a lot of times the commanders would yell at the quick step. Well, at the quick step is kind of, you're not running, but you're not walking. It's kind of a quick trot. And you'd automatically come to this right here. You'd bring it up to the right shoulder shift. It's the easy way to carry it. Also on long marches, they'd have you carry it like this. Firing your shoulder out, because these muskets are heavy, as you can tell by the one you got there.
Well, I mean, I got to fix my microphone.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
they didn't have to do that very much in the Civil War, did they?
No, not very often. They just had big mouth captains and big mouth sergeants.
All right.
All right. Company.
Company!
Shoulder.
Shoulder!
Arm.
Oh!
All right. You're doing good, Robby.
Thank you.
Company. Support.
Support!
Arms. Captain, I believe we're going to make a soldier out of him.
He's going to make it, I think, sir.
Company,
Company.
rest. And you're already at rest. You're holding
All right.
your stop. And you step back with your left foot just a little bit. That gives you kind of a rest break there. Company,
Company.
attention. So just stay like you are, but just drop your right hand back down. Okay. Company,
Company.
shoulder,
Shoulder.
arm. All right. Company,
Company.
support,
Support.
arm. Good. You got it. Company, shoulder, arm. Company, secure,
Secure.
arm.
Turn it around. Upside down. Put on your left side. There you go. It's water stuff getting on your barrel.
Now this is, if it was raining, we'd tell you to secure arms and carry your rifle like that, keep water from running down the barrel.
All right.
Company,
Company.
shoulder,
Shoulder.
arm. Company,
Company.
order,
Order.
arm. Now, I called the police department, so we got permission to fire. So we'll go ahead and let you guys bust a cap and fire around. Wes, have you got caps in your cap box?
Maybe two, sir.
We'll scrounge out enough here for Robby. He's got ammo.
Hey,
All right.
wait a minute. I got some.
Can we bust a cap and put powder in? Yes, Private. Company,
Company.
prime.
Put your musket through like this. And over the cartridge box. Pull that hammer back.
Full cock.
Yeah. Just half. Okay, now you're set. Now I'm set. And you just hold it there.
Go back to the wrong.
Hey.
Automatic. All right. Company,
Company.
to the rear and open order.
To the rear and open order.
March. All right. Fire cap.
Oh, his cap
Wait,
came
wait,
off.
wait, wait, your cap.
He dropped his cap.
He's dropped his cap.
Here you go.
Yankees is coming, Rob.
All right, fire cap, Rob. Good job.
Good job.
How's yours, First Sergeant? Good job, gentlemen. Good job.
Maybe you could put it again.
All right, all right.
Maybe.
Company,
Company.
load.
There you go. Got it off.
Now you might want to pop the thing on the ground.
Slap your lock plate when you pick it up.
There you go. All
Yeah,
right,
put your other cap
now,
on there.
Cock it one time. That's your safety. One time. You have to bring it back one more time to fire. Come the shoulder automatically. Okay. Just like, yeah, like that. Company.
You might want to move.
I will.
I just
Rear rank. Turn to order.
Turn to order.
Mark. Prepare to fire by company.
Prepare to fire by company.
Ready?
Ready.
Now, show Robby what ready means. Step back one step with you.
Pull it
Right
back.
foot.
just don't pull it right there. Pull it there. There you go.
Now, When this man behind you fires, he's going to come across your shoulder, but he's going to lay the rifle between these two bands so that there won't be any danger of this sparking on you or any powder getting you or the noise from the barrel hurting your ears. So he'll come across, and he's a professional. He knows what to do. Hey!
Hey!
Fire! Recover! Reload! Quickly, men, quickly. The Yankees are approaching. Prepare to fire. Fire by file.
Fire by fall.
Let's belay that. Prepare to fire by ranks. Since Robby's not too good. Rear rank. Ready? Aim. Fire. Recover. Front rank. Ready.
Ready!
Aim.
Hey!
Catch gun.
Yep.
Robbie's catch gun.
Give Robby another gap.
You gotta pinch him on
Yeah, I
there?
already pinched it for you. It'll stay on there now. It's under it's under his hammer there. Here.
Okay.
I'll save that for later.
Aim.
Are you full? Wait a minute, he's not full cock. There he goes.
Fire. Good volley, gentlemen. Good volley. Recover.
Cover!
Order.
Order!
Arm. You did good, Mr. Spencer.
Thank you.
That last volley sounded like one shot. That's what we look for. I believe you're gonna make a good recruit.
All right.
All right.
All right. We're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna eat. So I'll see you right after this. All right, here we are with, what was you, the sergeant?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to show me what we had to eat?
Yeah. Soldiers 3 basic meals in the field. Okay, it's right here. It's called a BC biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it's called before Christ, what soldiers called it, because it's a hard, nasty, indulgent flour, water, and salt.
Also for when it was made?
Yeah. And
Okay.
they even reissued this stuff 35 years later after the Civil War to the Spanish-American War soldiers.
Uh-huh.
And this stuff will never get old. Try some of it there. Take a big bite out of it. It's still good. It ain't old or nothing.
It looks like a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. Take a big bite of it.
Soldiers. It's called hardtack, and the soldiers called it teeth grinders and
Ammo
teeth
runners.
dullers, ammo runners. Some of them claimed their lives were saved because they got shot in their hardtack and it deflected the bullet.
Next, we got you here some. Now this is a
Do
real
I
favorite.
have to eat this whole
No,
thing?
you don't.
Okay.
Now this is your cornmeal, your standard cornmeal issue to troops.
Yeah.
Get you some of it right there. Stick your hand down, grab a bunch of it, and eat it.
Just the cornmeal?
Just the cornmeal, just eat it.
And they really did that?
Yeah, they eat that stuff.
Well,
Is it good? Now you can mix your canteen water with it, and it'll.
I forgot about that same thing.
He's a needing that campaign.
You had regular sausage, you had anything, any meat, steaks. Steaks are a real big thing. Troops and oysters, love a lot of oysters. You get oysters in the field.
I thought you got oysters out of the water.
Well, I mean, they got them out of water, but they shipped them out.
Into the field.
Yeah, into
okay. Yeah, I know what this is. This is sausage and biscuits.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to try that. I believe you tried it before.
Yeah, I know what sausage and biscuit.
I think you had that for breakfast this morning.
You need some canteen water?
Mm-hmm.
Right next, you want to go to it.
And so that's pretty much what
Yeah,
they
your
had to
three
eat.
basic foods that the Army supplied during the war.
Well, they
Hardtack, cornmeal.
You got beans, steaks, anything. If you're
coffee,
sugar,
they would,
molasses.
they ate a lot of rice. They gave them a lot of rice. Most of the Confederate soldiers just eat what they could get because they were on the march most of the time. Their commissary wagons didn't come. If you'll notice, especially even in reenactments, as you'll notice, most of our Confederates are dressed in various colors, various different colors. Some are almost non-colored. As the war dragged on, the Confederacy couldn't get the gray material like the coat you've got on, like I've got on. So they went to using nut shells like butternut and walnuts.
Use a lot of rust off
And
machinery and stuff.
Rust
dye
off
material.
machinery, and they would dye the material with it. And that's why you get what they call butternut Confederates. That's what the Union Army called them. And if you'll notice when you go to reenactments, if you look across the field, the Unions are all nice and neat and everything matches. And then you look across the field to Confederates and they look like a bunch of ragamuffins. And that's basically how the war was. But the Confederate was, you know, they were a stout fighting force. The only problem was they just didn't have the machinery and industrial background to support a war. Basically, they were agricultural part of the country, and everybody knows that when farmers go to war against machinists, you know, the machinists are most likely going to win. So that's why you have the varying colors and things like that. And you've got on sky blue paints, such as Private Van over here. And most of the time, the way the Confederates got those, besides capturing them from like Harper's Ferry, when Stonewall captured Harper's Ferry and getting the clothing like that, they also took the clothes off the dead if they didn't have any other way of getting them. So they would get a lot of the sky blue paints off of dead Union soldiers.
Okay. Well, they were talking to us earlier about the shebangs over here. Did you want to talk?
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about this. Now, each soldier that issued into the Army, now, this is a proper tent, a tent issued to each soldier. Now, each soldier got one half of a tent, which was rolled up into a blanket roll, which is what I got on here, which twisted. And inside this blanket roll with this tent half would be 2 shirts, valuables, and pictures and such. Now, they were issued knapsacks. It's very uncomfortable. As you can see, he's got one laying there. And talk about rubbing your armpits and stuff. So they took these shebang pieces, which is part of a tent half, and wrapped it around them.
So one half is called a shebang.
Yeah, one half, what you see here. That's a poncho. It's been put up to form a shebang. Soldier would do is, like, if me and you were in the field, me and you would get together with our muskets and fix our bayonets instead of using sticks. Drive our bayonets down in the ground and run a stick through the trigger up near the lock plate on both ends, and then hang the butt of our rifle, hang all our gear on to keep moisture from getting to it. And they wouldn't have no tent doors. These have tent doors. You wouldn't have those because the Army didn't supply them unless you contract. The Federal Army gave them to you, or you just bought them yourself. And you sleep in that. Usually they didn't have straw. If they come into a farm area, they could get straw or tall grass or anything. But basically that's what you're looking at right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now your A-frames here, what would be on?
If you were lucky enough for the commissary wagons to catch up with you, you'd probably have the A-frames, which these are 8 men. And
these are in like sieges, like big towns like Atlanta, Chattanooga.
And major camps. And these tents are just exactly the same tents that was used like at Valley Forge. I mean, there was no change from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War on these tents. They're basically the same thing. And now, my tent on the other side, that's an officer's tent. It's a little larger because I'm an officer. You know, I get to have a larger tent. Now, I have a fly because of being an officer. If I call my staff together, you know, we don't want to stand out in the sun, so we would sit under the fly. And I have camp chairs and tables where I can write my orders out and things like that. We've also got our 2 battle flags, if you want to walk over and look at those. This blue flag, let me give your cameraman time to catch up with it. This flag is a copy of what was issued to all the Virginia units as the war started. And it's now flown in Virginia now. As you notice, it says Sic Semper Tyrannis, which means thus to all tyrants. That's the Virginia state flag now. But these were issued to the units in the beginning of the war, and as you notice, we have our 50th Virginia designation on it. Each unit would put their group flag. This is a Confederate battle flag, and this is an exact copy of the 50th flag, which flew during the Civil War. And as you notice, we've got our, as the war went on, they were allowed, if you want to, Robert.
There's a copy at the Museum of the
Confederacy. And any battle that they fought in, they were allowed to put that battle on their flags. As you see, the 50th fought in Cross Lanes, Carnifax, Kelly's Farm, Chancellorsville. Actually, the 50th started, they were one of the first units, one of 4 units out of Virginia that didn't actually start in the Army of Northern Virginia. They were sent west to the Army of the West. And when the Fort Donelson was surrendered, they came out with Forrest. General Forrest took his cavalry out, and the commander of the 50th at that time, he went out with Forrest and brought the majority of the 50. Some were captured, but the majority came out with him, and they made their way back all the way from Middle Tennessee to the Army of Northern Virginia. And they came in just in time to fight under Stonewall at Chancellorsville, and then he was killed. See, at Chancellorsville, was wounded and died.
Jeb Stuart, third day.
Yeah, the third day at Chancellorsville, they fought under Jeb Stuart, who took over when Stonewall was wounded. And then they fought at Gettysburg and were basically just about annihilated.
One battle you don't see on here, Robby, is Spotsylvania Courthouse. That's where the 50th was almost annihilated at the Mule Shoe. There's 1,734 people served in the 50th Virginia. And at some time or other during the war, the last muster, the last roll call, there were 7 men answering the roll call. So you can see 50 Virginians shed their blood to defend their homeland. And we're very, very proud and honored to be. I had 2 cousins in this unit. There's another boy here, his grandfather was in this unit. So we got a lot of pride in this.
Most of us live in the Kingsport area, but we wanted to portray a Virginia unit because most of us are, our families are from Virginia. My grandfather fought in the 37th Virginia under Stonewall Jackson, and so we wanted to portray a Virginia unit.
I'd like to say also, Robby, we do federal. I had 3 granddaddies in the 39th Kentucky Union Army, so at some events we will do federal. So we're not anything but just portraying our ancestors and the pride in Union and Confederate. Just happened today you come when we was doing Confederate.
We do the 39th Kentucky Company K when we do federal.
I think something interesting you might like to see is our surgeon set up down here.
Yeah, we'll go down and talk to him.
He's got a guy he's working on down there now. You might be interested.
All righty.
His name's Johnny.
All right, we'll go down there.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Rob. Come down here for anything in particular? Anything ailing you?
No, we just want to see what you was doing to this fella here.
Well, this fella here, this is Johnny Red. That's his name. He's been with me a long time. He won't die, but he won't get no better either.
Well,
He just, you got to be a patient. The doctor, I guess he's got a lot of patience.
I'd say so.
Yeah, he's kind of hung up between this world and the next. But anyway, he's the one I carry with me, and we go over our surgical things with everybody. You know, that people are interested in Civil War medicine. And we carry him around. Just the kids really like him. Well, especially when they figure out he's not alive. They'll come up and touch him, you know, and then one of them will say, well, I hear his heart beating or whatever, but he's just a mannequin. And I covered him up last night with this poncho. And what I tell people, they ask me about Civil War wounds, you know, when you got shot out in the field. The main operation that was done during that time, you know what it was?
Amputation.
Amputation, that's right. That was the highest percentage of operation that they did, especially in the field. And if a man was shot in the chest, normally he was a dead man, because the surgeon would not cut into his body in the field, and he was pretty well. It was between him and God whether he got better or not.
And if he lived, gangrene was liable to set in.
Yeah, it could set up infections and whatever. If he was shot in the stomach, that usually penetrated his bowels, and peritonitis would set up and kill him. So, what most operations that was done was
was the amputation, like I said, because the ambulance drivers would pick up people more than likely that had arm wounds and leg wounds because they knew the surgeon could handle that. Well, when the surgeon came in, if it was through the arm, you know, it didn't hit the bone, they could patch that up pretty good. But if it clipped that bone and took that bone out, it'd just be like cutting the center out of that rod. So your arm would just flop, and there wasn't anything they could do about that. There was a operation they called resection, where they would put it back together, but the man's arm would just be useless. It'd be with the bone gone, it'd just flop around on it. So most of the times they took the arm and the leg off. A good surgeon could take your leg off in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll show him them bone saws I got. Down here's some of the items that we use. Now, this is a bone saw. This is an actual bone saw used during the Civil War. That's an authentic item. And that one is too. And these were sharpened. It was sharpened on this end. And of course, you had your saw side on this end. Surgeon could cut meat, flip it over, and cut bone. Okay. Now these were for your smaller bones, like maybe an arm bone or something.
Yeah.
When you got into the leg bones, then you'd have a bigger saw, like that. And there's two types of amputation. They had a straight cut method where they would just cut straight down the arm, and then the flesh all the way around. Then they could saw the bone off. And there was one, it's a V cut. And what they did, they went in here and cut this way and this way. Go up here and clip the bone, take that part of the arm off, and they cut it high enough, and then they take those two parts of flesh and they would close them over the bone, okay? And then they'd leave a hole at the end of it where it could still drain out. They might pack it with lint and they'd bandage it. But you got to remember, there was no antibiotics during this time.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we could give him anything for infection. And then they'd take him out, lay him under one of these trees, and it's just between him and God then whether or not he got better. He had a 50-50 chance at that time. Without the amputation, he had, because like you said, gangrene would set up for sure in the wound, and it caused blood poisoning and go through his whole body, and it'd kill him. So, and people, they play it up a lot. The first thing you give a patient is this. And I call it Spiritus Absolutus. Now, what do you think it is?
Whiskey.
Whiskey, okay. And they called that bracing the patient. They brace him. And they give him a drink, and then the surgeon would take him a drink, okay? And then the next guy they bring in, that patient to get a drink, and the surgeon take him a drink. Well, you know, kind of toward the end of the day, the surgeon might end up a little bit inebriated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they would give him a shot of whiskey, and to brace him up there. And then Hollywood plays it up big. Well, they didn't have anything to kill the pain or to knock a man out. Well, lots of times that did happen, but more than often it didn't. That they did have items, and they had ether and they had chloroform, okay? And they would give the man either the ether, more commonly chloroform, and they'd take a rag and just put it over his mouth like that and drop some of the chloroform in there. And they had to be real careful what they give him, because if you give a man too much, it can kill him. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then he would breathe it in, and then finally he would go out. Now the body has a natural reaction to the chloroform. It will kind of convulse when you give it to him. So people would say, well, we marched by the hospital and they was holding that man down and cutting his leg off, and it was horrible. Well, most of the time what they really were seeing was him convulsing to being given chloroform, and they would be holding him down, but it would be just until it took effect and he finally went under. Then they would start the operation. So Hollywood plays it up real big. They didn't have anything for painkiller to knock them out when they did. Another thing, some of these medicines here, that's a bottle of chloroform. It's a tincture of ginger. It was for skin disorders. You had creosotum, what you know was probably just like creosote.
Like you put on railroad ties.
Right, creosotum. It was for gangrene. It didn't work very well, but that's what they would put on it. There's your ether for knocking them out, putting them under. Spirits of turpentine would be for rheumatism, bronchitis, and if you had worms.
Yeah.
And turpentine, I guess, will kill a worm if you got it inside of it. And over here, we had some other things. This was a wound medicine, what they put on the wounds. It was sulfur and iron, a mixture. And they give them for pain, opium. Now, opium's an illegal drug.
Yeah.
Now, and have you heard the term laudanum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, in the Old West, they'd say, well, we give him laudanum or whatever. Laudanum was a mixture of whiskey and opium together, and that gave you your laudanum, but laudanum was very addictive because it had the opium in it, see what I'm saying? But they'd give them that. And then we've got others, syrup of squills for the cough, and here's a herb, chinchana. It was to reduce a fever. And bleeding from dysentery with sugar of lead, and believe it or not, they gave them lead, which was highly poisonous. Magnesia was for stomach, just like we got milk of magnesia today, but it was for stomach. Quinine crystals was for typhoid. They could give them that. And sassafras, sassafras will lower your body temperature if it comes up. Now there were several bizarre remedies that some surgeons came up with during the war. One of them they like me to tell is the persimmon story. Now, most soldiers went through the whole war, or a lot of them went through the whole war and didn't have a regular bowel movement. In other words, they would have diarrhea a lot, okay? And they was constantly looking for a cure for this. And one bright, brilliant surgeon down in North Carolina, he got hooked onto the idea of persimmons. Now, if you put a persimmon in your mouth, what does it do?
It puckers it up.
It puckers it up, okay, like that, okay? So he figured that if you used a persimmon for a suppository, unbelievably, it would pucker your lower part there.
Yeah.
We're on TV.
The back door.
The back door. Yeah, we don't want to say too, we don't want to explain it too much, but you know what we're talking about. And it would pucker up your rear end, and then you wouldn't go to the bathroom so much. Well, he was down there in North Carolina sticking persimmons up people's hind ends, but that proved not to be too successful.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe they give them watermelon juice, thinking it would help, and watermelon juice never helped me. It just made me go more. You know what I'm saying? And they was constantly trying to come up with different remedies and different things they could do. But to make a doctor during that time, you could apprentice in, like study under another doctor, or the best medical school in the United States was the University of Pennsylvania. And when you went there, you went for 2 years, now to be a medical doctor. The first year, you learned everything you need to know about being a doctor. Second year, you repeated the first year to make sure you got it.
Yeah.
And then after that, they'd turn you loose and you were a surgeon, and you could go into the field and try to help these people. But for the Confederates, they had one surgeon for about every 350 soldiers, and on the Union side, it was one surgeon for about every 250 soldiers.
All right, now, Dr. Wilhelm, what else would you like to show me here?
I need to show you how they would have removed a bullet.
Okay.
If we said earlier there that if you shot in the chest, probably you was a dead man, but they would try sometimes.
Especially if you was an officer or something.
That's right, yeah, and if they didn't like you. But anyway, sometimes they would try to get the bullet out. And what they would do, they would find, of course, the bullet hole, and then the bullet goes in and it makes a track to wherever it stops in your body, okay?
Yeah, that's logical.
Yeah, it plows its way in there. So they had a thing called a probe. Now, this is not an original probe, but it's a mock-up of one. And it's just a metal here, and on the end, this white thing here is porcelain, okay? All right. So what they would do, they'd find the bullet hole, and then they would take the porcelain probe and insert it into the bullet hole and follow the track.
Would they give him ether or anything first?
Yeah, they could. They give him ether, or they could give him the chloroform. And they'd follow the track of the bullet all the way up till they hit something, okay? All right, when they hit something, they'd rotate that, and then they'd pull it back out. Now, that porcelain there, if it was a lead bullet, it'd make a black mark on that thing, okay? Because nothing else in the body would make a black mark. So they know they know that they'd hit the bullet, and they know about how deep it was in there, how far they had to go in, by how far they went in on the probe. And then they take these forceps. Now this is not really a set of forceps. It's just greatly exaggerated for demonstration, okay? They would have been smaller than that, but I carry them because they're easy to see. So at that point, they could go into the track of the bullet. Now they're doing more damage as they dig, you know that. But they could go in there and they could try to follow it up based on how far their probe went and try to pinch the bullet and pull it out, okay? Or they could use a scoop. They could try to scoop it out. They could do it this way and go into the wound, grab it, and try to drag it out, okay? Now they also had to look for any piece of, if they got the bullet out, they also had to look when they examined him, if a piece of his shirt or his suspenders or whatever was missing. Because if that bullet has drug that piece of that shirt or suspender into that with it, and they don't get the they get the bullet out, but they don't get that piece of shirt or suspender, that's going to set up infection. So they have to look, like I said, and see what's missing here, so they know they get all that bullet and whatever article of clothing that he went into it. Okay, and that's what I wanted to add on there and show you, was about that part there, about how they would try sometimes to get the bullet out. They also had a waxy substance that they could cover the hole with. If it had punctured a lung or something, that lung's probably going to collapse, but they could seal it off and try to keep it from being a sucking wound that would go all the way down to his lung or whatever. But these boys, like I said, they had it real rough. There were 618,000 soldiers killed in this war total. We have another 100,000 civilians dead from this war. You got 718,000 people, Americans, dead in this war. If you take all the other wars, all the from Rev War on down, World War I, World War II, put them in a pile and stack them up, you don't have the same number of people killed as you do in the American Civil War.
Well, it gives you something to think about, don't it?
It sure does. You need to appreciate the medical care that you get today, because what they had going for them in the field was really not good. And this is a fact that during the Vietnam War, a soldier could be removed from the battlefield and actually back in the States receiving treatments before some Civil War soldiers were ever even taken off the field. So that was, they invented the helicopter and the medevac and the MASH units and the amount of care that it really advanced from 1865 to 1965. Yeah. And you've got a great large number, 3 out of every 4 wounded in combat were dying in the Civil War, and you've got like 1 out of every 200 were dying during the Vietnam War. So you see how far they came in 100 years with the medical care.
Well, I sure have appreciated talking to you here. I think, what is his name, Captain Verbal?
Captain Verbal, Captain Joey Verbal.
Yeah, he's got an order for me to meet up there at the gate, so I better run.
If the captain's calling, you better respond, sir.
All right, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Robby.
See you later.
All right.
They told me to get up here to the gate, that they had an order for me. What?
Private Spencer, Captain Verbal has ordered you to stand picket duty at this gate until this time tomorrow, sir. You will walk back and forth and be on guard against any person trying to enter this property.
All right.
We will relieve you tomorrow.
Just walk back and forth?
Yes, sir. If you are found asleep or abandon your post, I have orders to have you shot. I just want you to know that before I leave. Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you. Can you still hear me? All right, it looks like I'm gonna be here a while, so I guess I'd just like to say thank you for joining me on this Robby Spencer adventure with 50th Virginia Company H at the Exchange Place. I'll see you later.